Star Television Network in Freetown, welcome to our top stories making the national news bulletin. I am Leonora Jawara. The headlines. Sierra Leone Labour Congress, in collaboration with Africa Regional Organization of the International Trade Union Confederation, launches the project titled Fostering Sustainable Development through Social Dialogue in Africa's Fragile States.
Rise to equitable social environment.
The mayor of the Freetown municipality, Yvonne Akisoya, welcomed the mayor of Monrovia, Jefferson Tambakoji, and entourage for the launch of the Champions for Hate Action.
Survival of our people today.
Mary Stopes Sierra Leone launches the Back to School promotion with the theme My Body, My Right.
In secondary school nationwide, the policy was recently included.
Details of the news. Now, the Sierra Leone Labour Congress, in collaboration with Africa Regional Organization of the International Trade Union Confederation, has launched the project titled Fostering Sustainable Development through Social Dialogue in Africa's Fragile States. The project was launched at the Labour Congress head office, Wallice Johnson Street in Freetown. Alfie Barrie Reports.
When making his opening remarks, Charles Kev Kobai noted that sustainable development must ensure a viable natural environment, giving rise to equitable ecosystem. He emphasized the need for social dialogue as it enforces the fabric for peaceful coexistence.
The building blocks are a viable natural environment. Sustainable development must ensure a viable natural environment. Sustainable, natural, and built environment is another building block. It also builds a sustainable economic development. Sustainable development also gives sufficient economy. It ensures nurturing community. It gives rise to equitable social environment. So in a bid to guarantee sustainable development, we need fair social strata. We need livable environment and a viable economy.
The acting president, Sierra Leone Labour Congress, Mohamed Bangura, noted that there has been a galore of trade union strike which has put a strain on the country's economic growth, adding that in order to prevent relapse in such upheaval, social justice should be provided fairly. He lashed at what he called the forceful removal of traders at the Central Business District without recourse to providing alternatives to them.
On the removal of traders, ladies and gentlemen, we all see the past few days. Our people are removed from the places where they used to trade to carry out their economic activities forcibly and ruthlessly without being given the alternative for them to be located in other places where they will carry out their trading and other economic activity.
The Deputy Commissioner of Labour in the Ministry of Labour, Francis Camara, also emphasized the need for social dialogue as it will build consensus. Sierra Leone has made quantum leap in signing up for conventions. Francis Camara noted.
Social dialogue, as all the speakers have indicated, it can strengthen and promote consensus building and good governance. So I am strongly of the view that it is potentially not a deliberate attempt for government functionaries not to come here. Our minister is an able person, is a legal person. I'm sure he's sending this message out to the cabinet. That is why you find the drafters of the Sustainable Development Goals, specifically goal number 8. What did they do? They decided to link sustainable, decent work and economic growth. It means there is a positive correlation between you practice social protection or you implement social protection, and then you make sure there is social dialogue and tripartism, and then you make sure the fundamental principles and rights at work is implemented or is taken through, you realize that the economy will grow. Some of them have been domesticated. And we've also set a record 2018-2019 by getting the Parliament to ratify 11 instruments, 10 conventions, and 1 protocol, including the Domestic Workers Convention, Convention 188, 189. So what we need to do now is to make sure, once they are involved, we domesticate them into our national laws. And then as a tripartite bloc, we see how we can implement the provisions of those.
For Star TV News in Freetown, Alfie Barrie reporting.
The mayor of the Freetown municipality, Yvonne Akisoya, on Wednesday 20th October, welcomed the mayor of Monrovia, Jefferson Tambakoji, and entourage for the launch of the Champions for Heat Action. Moses Ojo Kamara was there and he files in this report.
Climate change is causing more frequent and severe life-threatening heat waves that have devastating short and long-term consequences. The World Meteorological Organization predicts that over the next 3 years, Africa will experience continued warming and decrease in rainfall, especially over North and Southern Africa. In solidarity of the urgent need for a cooler continent, Lord Mayor of Monrovia, Jefferson Tambakoji, joined Freetown's Mayor Yvonne Akisoya and other dignitaries to launch the City Champion for Heat Action in Freetown.
My esteemed colleague extended an invitation. I think Monrovia, not only being here, we partner with Yvonne in working and telling her that we pick up the torch, we go and proceed. As you have announced a heat officer, we will piggyback and read from your notes. We also have a resilient officer, but we will now move one step beyond by just having a resilient officer. We're also going to have a heat officer. That heat officers can begin to compare note with the heat officer in Freetown.
Mauricio Rodas, Senior Fellow Ash Rockefeller Foundation Resilience Center, lead for the City Champion for Heat initiative, in a statement mentioned that they continue to be laser focused on supporting cities in taking immediate and scalable actions to reduce the threat and deadly effect extreme heat poses to their most vulnerable communities.
Freetown is a city that is not strange to extreme heat. Freetown has reached temperatures above 41 degrees Celsius, and like many other African cities, are experiencing the dangers of extreme heat to the population in general, but particularly to the most vulnerable. So that's why undertaking this issue is so important, and we are thrilled, dear Yvonne, to undertake this mission along with you and with the city of Freetown and many other cities in the continent of Africa.
Keynote speaker Yvonne Akisoya pinpointed that heat waves have cascading effects and tagged it to be the #1 killer in Africa.
It means it's a matter of survival. It's a matter of survival of our people today, because climate change is real and the impacts are already here.
She concluded her statement by unveiling Africa's first Chief Heat Officer. The role of the Chief Heat Officer is to raise awareness of extreme heat risk among their citizens, coordinate among desperate stakeholders to prompt better planning and response to heat waves, and support the implementation of long-term heat risk reduction projects. However, before the launch of the City Champion for Heat Action, Lord Mayor Jefferson Tambakoji was presented with the key to the city of Freetown.
That you know where you are. So, welcome to Freetown, welcome to Sierra Leone.
For Star News, I am Moses Ojo Kamara.
Stop Sierra Leone has launched the Back to School promotion with the theme My Body, My Right. This is the organization's third promotion in 2021. The event officially unveils continuous free delivery of family planning, cervical cancer screening, and sexual reproductive health services to women and girls nationwide. Admire Samai has the details and she now reports.
The country director Stop Sierra Leone, Dao Iqbal, while reading the press statement, said, as part of this year's vision, we are proud to inform you that MSSL will be closely working with the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary School Education and other partners to popularize and implement the comprehensive sexuality education policy in secondary schools nationwide. This policy was recently included in the academic curriculum by GoSL following years' advocacy drives for its inclusion by MSSL, among others.
As a part of the year version, we are proud to inform you that Stop Sierra Leone will closely work with the Ministry of Basics and Senior Secondary Education and other partners to popularize and implement comprehensive sexual education policy in secondary schools nationwide. The policy was recently included in the academic curriculum of the Government of Sierra Leone following years of advocacy drives for the inclusion by Stop Sierra Leone and among others. CSE provides teaching of SRH, menstrual hygiene, family planning issues from primary high through senior secondary education. Consequently, Stop Sierra Leone helped develop and print 5,892 textbooks, thus aiding teaching CSE across secondary school in the 3 districts.
Madam Patricia Ban, National Coordinator for Reduction of Teenage Pregnancy Secretariat in Sierra Leone, for which she noted that it is in line with the comprehensive sexuality education program that teaches the right of girls to know about their body parts and how to prevent themselves from sexually transmitted diseases and other unwanted pregnancies.
Quality education that helps prevent young people for a fulfilling life in the changing world. We are now living in a global world. If we don't teach them in school, they will know through their WhatsApp, through their the social media and Instagram, you name it, where they have all this information. And at times this information are not the correct information that will guide them. But if we start implementing comprehensive sexuality education, definitely will provide what we call age-appropriate information to them concerning their sex and sexuality. It improves the sexual reproductive health outcomes. Speaker after speaker mentioned the issue about the mortalities. We are focusing on maternal mortality. Why? Because most times when we look at the statistics in Sierra Leone, we are talking about 46.7, almost 47% of our women that are dying due to maternal health issues are adolescents. So as a result, most times when we are talking about reducing maternal mortality, we look at the adolescent girls to see how best we can help them to survive. And if we want them to survive, then definitely we have to make sure we introduce comprehensive sexuality education and also make sure we implement all the activities or all what it takes for them to know about their sex and sexuality. And
Binta Jallo, Ambassador Mary Stopes, said comprehensive sexual education in a curriculum is a best process of teaching and learn about cognitive, emotional, physical and social well-being of an individual. She explains more.
By teaching and learning about the cognitive, emotional, physical and social well-being of an individual. Comprehensive sexuality education emphasizes on the human rights values of all individuals, including gender equality and gender identity. Sexuality education aims to develop and strengthen the ability of youth to gain the information, skills, and motivation on how to make a healthy decisions of sex throughout their lives.
For Star TV News in Freetown, compiled by Admire Samayed by Isabella Stanley.
Women in mining and extractive women with support from Oxfam as on Tuesday, 5th October, launched the African Mining Benefit Assessment Report. Sadomba Maturi has more.
With support from Oxfam, Women on Mining and Extractive WUMI, as on Tuesday, the 5th of October 2021, launches the African Mining Benefit Assessment Report. Launching the report, the National Coordinator, Sierra Leone Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative, Mr. Mohamed Kuruma, said the report is good and highlighted challenges faced on sub-national transfers to bring accountability and transparency into communities in the mining sector.
Our fiscal regimes and legal frameworks must be progressive and tailored in a manner that will ensure that mining communities achieve the most from the various revenue streams. Surface rents, TNCDF, and others are central to communities' local development initiatives. However, a lot more is needed beyond these. I must mention that the Sierra Leone Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, SLETI, recently commissioned an assessment study on the impact of EITI and socio-economic benefits derived from subnational transfer revenue by many communities. The objectives of this study are not limited to assessing the legal frameworks and existing law governing the mining sector and the operations of mining entities in respect of the rights and protection of communities and citizens to identify any gaps therein and how these can be addressed. Like the AMBA report's findings, it is hoped that SLETI will contribute immensely to bringing out the underlying issues and at the same time enhance transparency and accountability in the collection and utilization of revenues generated from the sector.
The executive director for WUMI, Esther Findakande, disclosed that the report represented voices of 6 African countries, including Sierra Leone, regarding the utilization of subnational transfers and how communities can benefit from the process.
I want to join my colleagues to welcome you again to the launch of the report on AMPA. And AMPA means the African Mining Benefit Assessment, which was done by Oxfam. And this report represents the voice of different African countries in Africa, about 6 countries including Sierra Leone. But today we are here to talk about Sierra Leone's report on how the monies that are going back to the communities benefiting the community people. Before I go further, I must acknowledge our partner here from Oxfam, Mr. Nurudi. Nurudi, are you there? Can you just raise your hands? He's our partner, and they carry out this report or this research. We are helping them to launch it or to bring it to you because we work in the extractive sector and we have great interest in the way our communities benefit from the extractive sector.
Appealing to the government for the involvement of WUMI in the area of disbursement of community funds, Madam Finda Moewo from Connaught District had this to say.
To express my view, I won't do it because my English is a Latin English. Some of you will not understand me unless I do So I talk concerning this CDA money and CDC money, where we are the plea to the government for me to involve OV and money. Money. There's another involved. Now all the work all the number involved. Now we said we advocate for women, we advocate for beginning. and we said now we don't go down. But that money we get for car, we advocate for it. But they tell where that money they come. We don't know involve and the meeting, they know they involve it. And all they advocate for that, and all they first for them for the group of money, they can also CDA money. Nobody don't know water. That CDF money, nobody don't know water. If you not open me before pull and do, it not be easy. But say that money they give people there, or woman they involve woman they no woman not be know water than it. Now where women can do the help of the NGOs or the help with this NNDT now.
The launching brought together representatives from the Human Rights Commission Sierra Leone, the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources. For Star News in Freetown, Sir Eric Domba Maturi reporting.
Well, in case you've just joined us, you're watching the National News Bulletin here on Star TV. Now, the Legal Aid Board Sierra Leone has engaged local tribal heads of the Western area as a way to continue their work in upholding peace, law and order, and sanity in their various communities. Here is Yessie Hallowell with more.
Local tribal heads are main instruments in maintaining peace and oneness in communities. In this light, the Legal Aid Board Sierra Leone thought it fit to engage tribal heads in connection to their pivotal role played in society. While speaking during the engagement, Fatmata Clark Carlton Hansels, the Executive Director of the Legal Aid Board, said they have been in close contact with the local tribal heads in their communities. But since the COVID-19 erupted, most of their activities have been halted. She further stated that now that the COVID-19 is slowly coming to an end, they need to continue with their good work in upholding peace in their communities and the country as a whole.
When the COVID, they don't timber, the chief governor will for you, not so. We say that legal, they don't able to do work. But institution, they don't able for do their work. But we don't work with the community there. We don't work with the law. We don't work with the government. We tell God thank you, and we tell NACOVAC thank you. And we tell the government thank you. Don't give them a bigger. For all the authorities we don't reach this stage. Can the corona and how they don't manage it. But now we don't can also now. We will begin for whole meeting there. Alive? We will begin whole meeting there. We will begin call Ubare meeting there. We will begin appoint with some chief there. We will begin look again waiting they happen inside our community there. And we will able for bring peace calm in the country. Freetown, not to Sierra Leone.
Chief Becky, Vice Chairman, Council of Tribal Heads, in his statement, said they as tribal heads are charged with the responsibility of educating their sub-chiefs on what they are to do when it comes to handling cases. As most times, people living in particular communities prefer to take cases to other chiefs living in other communities rather than the communities where they reside.
Oneness in action. If you're not Flaman, then the case going to come man in court. If you're not Konoman, then the case going to come in court, and so and so. Because we almost speak one simple language in Sierra Leone now create. So with that, thank you very much.
The Secretary General Council of Tribal Heads, Chief Matthew Jibao Young, in his statement said they are pleading for the local act to be provided to them, all 16 tribal heads, as it will serve as a guide in carrying out their duties. He went on to state that the tribal heads are sometimes dismissed from solving certain cases by lawyers. He, however, called on all tribal heads to continue their good work.
They
don't repeal the Fange Act.
How on that? How on that? So they will go there and maintain things that they. What if all of them think that they, Madam Legal Aid, we want to make people partner with the lawyers so that make when I call we together and talk to me so that then we'll get to add some respect to the office or say yes, we will really go and tell all of the sub-chiefs in this Western area, sit down. That will make a sit-down strike for 1 month and let me see what I get for so.
Chief Alhaji Mohammed Sajo Jalo, the Fula tribal head, stated that in order to reduce crime, the price of alcohol and non-alcoholic drinks must be revisited. Alcohol can be bought at a low cost, whilst non-alcoholic drinks are expensive.
Me, the people government, made and try for regularize the tax of this wrong way that they make in this country. 500 years they get bigger pack. One soft drink na 2,500 euros. You dey give pikin lunch for 1,000 euros. You go put 500 buy pega drink and a jack. Until we no able to regularize that problem, the criminology is not stop in this country. Because the pikin them, anybody go take that push, if they out of the way, you know what to do. That's one point. And again, for that on one side, the country tanga, yes. I want the people to know that this country is tanga, but not to win at the master of tanga is.
Various speakers made meaningful contributions. Reporting for Star News, I am Yessi Ernest Hallowell.
And those are all the stories we have for you today in a National News Bulletin file. I am Leonora Jawara. Thank you for watching, and do stay with us if you can.